Hello and welcome to another episode of Diandra, the co-host. I am Diandra Reviews, and this episode is brought to you by DiandraReviewsItAll.com, where I review entertainment for the light it gives. And when I say light, I mean positivity. And when I say positivity, because even that word can feel a little overly tossed around, what I'm trying to say is how artists transfer their pain and joy as people into their art and make it a sort of reflection and promotion to listeners to just find your joy, find your dreams, find your healing, find your better. And I definitely felt that with today's co-host, Prism, bitch. You have to say it like that. That's actually a requirement when you say their name. You have to say it like that. Yep. That's 100% true. Anyway, they came out with a new album called Perla. It is fantastic, and we go into really everything. If I can be really, really honest with you, I suffered some tragic losses in the past month that really froze me. They were in a row and they shocked me because loss often does. And looking back at this episode and this podcast and releasing it gives me a lot of joy because so often you can tell who an artist is by the topics that they send me, because I ask every artist to send me their top 5 topics, and they send me basic ones, music, friendship, memories, and naturally we veer off because they're really simple people, very easygoing, very lovely and fun, and I could tell they send me those topics, and I think they admit it on the podcast because they had to send topics, but they can talk about everything and anything because they're friends. And looking back on that in this time of grieving that I'm in, it just made me feel light. We laughed so much. We had a blast talking to each other, and there's just a real joy at listening and watching a group of people laugh together. This episode, more so than a lot of them, felt like, I imagine the listener will feel like a fly in the wall, listening in on really fun, light conversations between people who love true crime and one who sold his bike to a Craigslist killer. Side note, we talk about, if we get really serious, life post-pandemic. They're a very interactive group, and it's been on their mind what concerts are going to look like because they're so vivacious, they're so fun. We discuss social media and the pressures that a lot of artists have right now to build their virtual life because real life has been paused. And that's not easy. There is this feeling when it comes to social media that you can't just be funny, you have to be a comedian, you can't just say a really cool, thoughtful thing, you have to be a guru. And that definitely affects them and a lot of artists who, A, may not be into social media because that's not their vibe, that's not their personality, and B, who even knows? Who even understands that world? Sometimes people become super famous on social media and I'm like, who, what, where, how, why? Give me the details. I don't get it. And I'm sure you as a listener / viewer have felt the same way. But again, we talk about all kinds of things, like what it is to have an empathetic face, like myself and like theirs, and have random people approach you at supermarkets. So yeah, we have a range. We laugh a lot. We have a really good time. And I think when you're a good person, like they are, and you are surrounding yourself with good people, you can have a laugh and get really philosophical within a second because you're so light. Like people think being light, you have to be really deep and really serious and talk like this. And no, it's in the laughs, it's in the joy, and it's in the openness of thinking. And if you find a few good friends that make you think without force and with fun, then that's a real blessing. Find your group of people because they have. Prism, bitch, they are each other's people. They like each other, they love each other, and they share the same dreams without any competitiveness between each other, just pure chemistry. And that's why I know you are going to love This episode of Diandra and the Co-Host brought to you by DiandraReviewsItAll.com, where I review entertainment for the light it gives. And today's co-host is Prism, bitch! Yeah, I just had to say it like that. Sorry. Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Diandra and the Co-Host. I am Diandra Reviews. And this episode is brought to you by DiandraReviewsItAll.com, where I review the newest in entertainment for all its positive and social commentary about the world we are living in right now. And today's guest is Prism, bitch! I had to say it like that. I had to.
That's fine.
Delightful.
We like hearing it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, introduce yourselves. Tell me your names. Tell me about your new music.
I'm Lila Rose.
I'm Lauren Poole.
I'm Chris Walsh.
I'm Teresa Esquera.
Some music that is new for you to hear.
It's coming out as an album and a record and online. It's called Perla, named after Teresa's mother.
I'm Perla. She loves it.
You're I mean, I see like Teresa Esguerra, Perla. So I'm sure there's one thing I know about Latina moms, just from my own
she's Filipino.
Our cultures are so similar, probably
like
because
this.
we shared a same colonizer. But we both got shamed by the same dude.
Yeah.
But I will say that one thing about Filipino culture and Latino culture that's very similar is that our moms, they can be rough. They're not exactly the most complimentary, but they do love an homage.
Oh, they love an homage, yeah. And they can, I don't know if this is your experience, Diandra, but they can not be like, oh, Teresa, your skin doesn't look good. You should drink more water. But anybody in my circle is just love, love, love. Oh, Lila, so beautiful. What's going on with Chris? He looks so fit these days. Oh, Lauren, she cooks so good. But Teresa, you should still look at your job.
Yeah.
You should go into pharmaceuticals. But I know she loves me. So.
They're actors. They are 100% shady.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to turn on the act. Like, people look at my mom and they're like, she's so friendly, she's so loving, oh my God. And then that door closes. You wore that today? Really? And you're like, wow, people don't know that. Your mom always has the sweetest compliments. And it's like, not for her child.
It's the same hand of love that just...
Yeah, she's a really awesome, she feeds us really well when we're on the road.
Yeah, food is definitely a part of Latino Filipino culture, because that's seduction right there. A good meal.
I want it now. I want it right now.
Yeah, when we first got to T's mom, her mom lives with with your brother and the family, and so there's like kiddos, and it's like and we got there at night after our show, and T's mom had made the little
lumpia.
She'd made lumpia, like, oh my God, I don't know, maybe 200 just in case, little egg rolls. And then we
had like 50.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So good.
Yeah. But also steaks. Also,
we're lucky. Yeah, literally. We're really lucky if we get to stop in Sacramento, because it's like on the route of the West Coast tours, which is every other part of the year.
Yeah. And then we try to make sure it's within striking distance of mom.
Yeah.
And then his niece will like do our hair and paint our nails.
Yes.
And braid our hair.
It's great for me because I'm also Filipino, but I grew up with a white family, so I get to have like this Filipino family on the road.
Not that they're lovely too.
Yeah.
But Perla's something.
Perla gets an album named after her.
Yeah.
it might just be the part of the, quartet of albums just named after our mothers, one after the other. So,
Yeah.
but this collection of songs is
Kind of a concept album based on
There it is.
moms.
our mom rock musical. Is it Diandra or Diandra?
Diandra.
Okay, awesome.
Totally cool. Yeah, I've been called Devindra, DeAndre. I have been called so many different names, and I roll with it too. I'm like, you know
Okay.
what? Any opportunity to role play, take it.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Is that
Oh
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
you sound
Ah.
good, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Saucy.
Chris, don't
Ooh,
say no.
ooh, Chris.
Chris, I thought we were gonna do like a true crime. Like he has that true crime podcast voice. Like, I don't know what happened at the Cecil Hotel. Something happened for
Yeah,
sure.
Chris, can you say it was a cold November night like any other, except
It was a cold November night like any other, except
Except.
Someone was about to vanish. I do love, like, are you guys, because that could be a topic. Are you into true crime?
I
Oh.
think it would
Lauren
definitely
is
be
hella into
Lauren.
I
I kind
Lauren
of
and
listen
Lila will
to too
be.
much murder all the time.
I kind of watch it while I'm going to bed and waking up.
I think about that all the time. Like, is it okay that I'm so into murder?
It means you're really likely to survive, I think, because you're always thinking about how someone could get you.
Yeah.
So you're watching.
I met a murderer the other day.
What?
And,
What?
yeah, I was selling stuff at Craigslist. I sold a bike, and this guy was like, "I think I sold your house to your aunt." And I was like, "Oh, really? Are you still in real estate?" And he's like, "No, I killed someone 3 years ago."
Oh my God, what a
And
casual.
I like
I
how
was in jail.
honest he was, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How he murdered the person. It was just like, no, I killed somebody. So
Yeah.
thanks for the bag. Deuces.
Yeah. I think he was like doing some real estate with this church or something, and someone was like stealing
Oh,
stuff and he
that
like
guy?
yeah.
The
He
one
ra-
near pharmacy? That church off of like Central and near Morningside Park, I think.
Yeah,
told me about
yeah. He ran someone over,
Yeah.
and they died a few days later.
I
Yeah,
hate when that happens.
Man. And it was intentional?
it was intentional.
Oh,
I don't think he
no.
intended for the guy to die, but
But he was like, I'm running this guy over today.
Are we rolling right now?
We're rolling.
But
T.
that could be total. That could be like that could all be in the podcast because that's
could-
just.
That could be
That's
the
terrible.
only topic, actually.
Because I mean, the way Dateline has affected my dating life, like, it's just, it's always the husband. And then like, now I'm like, we're getting along, we're falling for each other. But in 20 years, when we hit that, like, I'm kind of getting bored with you,
Yeah.
will you murder me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, will our finances be so intertwined that, like, you don't want to it's just easier to kill me and get the life insurance than it is to, like, make a clean break and start all over?
That's not 20 years. That's like 20 months in, too.
Yeah.
So, that's newlywed shit, so.
It's like
Yeah.
they have several shows. Who Did I Marry? And then they're all episodes of someone getting murdered 20 months or years into the marriage.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure. I had one, there was one episode of Dateline where the guy got like 6 life insurances on his wife, and like 4 of them he got just before he was going to kill her. And I'm like, hey, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
I think Todd is going to kill me.
Yeah.
Or the ones where you find out, like, this guy's on his 3rd wife and she doesn't know that he had like 2 other ones, and
Yeah, and they all just happened to fall down the stairs.
my last 2 wives drowned in the bathtub. It was the weirdest shit. I just don't know.
Or like she fell down the stairs and it was only like 5 stairs and all the blood was everywhere. And you're like, how did that happen, Roger?
Yeah,
How did that really
I've eaten
happen?
shit down some stairs and I didn't die. So
That's the type of stuff that kind of definitely makes you rethink how you date and kind of like look at men. We're looking at you, Chris. Huh.
Yeah,
suspicious.
I wasn't I didn't think about it all that much, and now that I've met a murderer, I'm like, oh boy, they exist.
Oh boy.
It's
Oh God.
really.
One
Or
knows
like
where
he
I
has
live.
or he has a problem with the bike you sold him, and he like
Yeah.
comes back tomorrow. So this chain fell right off.
Chris will he'll be like, you know what? I'll take the bike. Here's money, and here's extra money.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, he was like an honest murderer though. It sounded like he was really forthcoming.
I think the statistic is in your lifetime, you're going to meet 8 people who killed somebody or something like that.
It's
That's
like
the statistic.
spiders
I
Mhm.
feel like I've already met like
that you eat.
I feel like I've already met like 20 people that have killed someone, so maybe I can go the rest of my life.
You do
Like,
know
Yeah.
some interesting people.
you know, or you're being a server or a bartender.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
like
totally.
you're meeting so many people that maybe you can run through them and get done faster with meeting murderers.
It's very true. The service industry introduces you to the weirdest people.
Well, I mean, that kind of goes, you run into one of our topics, which is like memories and traveling. And I feel like as a band and as members of the service industry, do you get like people that you're like, why did you tell me that? That is
Oh yeah.
really open.
Oh
Really
yeah.
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
What is the craziest thing that somebody's revealed to you that you're kind of like, well, all right, we're just 2 minutes in.
Man, I'll literally, this happens to me all the time where I will go to the grocery store and I'll meet somebody who just needs somebody to talk to. And I'll be like, doing my own thing, and somebody will be like, hey, have you seen this can right here? And I'm like, oh, cool can. And they're like, oh man, my mom just died. Or something, this happens to me all the time too. And my partner Kirby notices that also. He's like, you have the weirdest things happen to you with people just like coming and talking to you. So I don't know if I have an exact moment, but it happens almost like every other day.
It's
Yeah.
probably the way that you interact with people pretty openly, and I think like we all in this band have this, and Diandra, I bet you probably get this shit too, because you seem like an open, chatty gal, and like, yeah, like people. I think at bartending, it's really common for people to tell you like really personal relationship shit.
For you especially.
Yeah, like really personal relationship shit, but yeah, like it'll go dark quick. Like one time, a patron was going through a divorce, and then she was like, tried to put $20 in my hand. She was like, tell me if he comes in here with somebody. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not getting in this shit with you. Like,
And a $20 spy, like at least give me 2,000. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
a cheap spy either.
yeah, I was just like, no, and I just like pushed it back. I was, because people are strange when they're hurting. That's for sure.
Yes, for
Lash out.
sure.
Yeah.
That's where the danger is.
It can be dangerous. I
Yeah.
enjoy these conversations. I enjoy being there for people, but yeah, they come to us in flocks.
I think I would say that every person here on this chat currently has an aura of empathy. And I think that that's what attracts people. And then the odd safetiness that comes with strangers. Like, I think we've all had a chat with a stranger where we were so honest, like more honest with them than say our best friend. So it's like this mutual kind of like, I feel like I can tell you things, and I also feel like you won't judge me.
I think that happens when you're performing, because I think after we would play, I would go want to see the next band play, so I'd wander around and get to talking to people, and there's this immediate like, we just shared the last 40 minutes together, and so people will tell me about, or tell any of us, about their art, their relationships, things that they're trying to accomplish in their lives, or some hard times that music got them through, and it happens like super fast. And then you're out of town, we leave town that night. So I think it's that shared moment of, we just, even though we had played, we were all there and we all were in on an experience together. And that's the cool thing about performing and touring, actually, because you just go to different towns and you don't think you have anything in common with anybody, but it's pretty much all the same. Everyone just wants to connect with people, it seems like. So
Mhm.
Wow. I mean, I could genuinely say I never saw it like that. But yeah, you are sharing 40 minutes with somebody. And though you're playing music in a odd way, it is a conversation.
Mhm.
Yeah, I never saw
Definitely.
like that. Well, that explains kind of the relationship why you
well,
get fans.
and also Lila runs out into the audience too, so she's
Yeah.
with them for
She
for at
parties
least
with them.
yeah, for
Yeah,
at least
we
a minute or
party.
two.
Do you think that's going to change, Lila, now after like in these
Dude,
post-pandemic times? Like,
it has to change. I don't want it to change, but I don't know if it does have. I don't know. I was thinking
I'm
about that the other day.
I'm sure it'll be weird for a little while, you know,
Yeah.
like it's at this point where even when I'm watching TV and there's like a bunch of people in a bar in like a scene, you know, in a show, it's like a bunch of people in New York City in a bar, like sharing a cigarette or some shit. I'm always like, like no masks. So I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll take a second for our brains to be like, it's cool. We've been like this thousands of years before.
Right.
Yeah,
Been
Yeah.
trying to like
barriers.
re-brainstorm different ways to interact with people without
If
getting
Lila,
both
if
in
we
their
could,
comfort zones
yeah,
as well, you
if
know?
we could put you in one of those like life-size mouse balls and then like throw you out for the audience and you could just like run over everybody,
I'll just run over them.
or a hazmat suit, like you just suit up and then crowd surf or something like that.
Yeah, I'll just touch other people and then they have to touch other people's touches, but I'll be safe. It'll be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that you'll be non-COVID. They'll be COVID, but
They
you'll
I
be
might be
non-COVID.
spreading it. I might be a super spreader.
The hilarious thing is like when you are on the news and they trace it back. Apparently, a band called Prism has been super spreading. Yeah,
We're like ground zero or patient
They were
zero.
kissing
Oh,
everybody and hugging everybody.
Oh man. I
uh,
know. It's gonna be interesting when people start touring again. Well, I guess we'll have to play that one step at a time.
I mean, I was talking to one artist a few days ago, and we were talking about how I think one of the trippy things about this time is that we've also realized how gross people are in terms of like people are not washing their hands. They don't mind coughing on each other. So it's kind of like, a concert, I love a concert, but it is like, it is a gross, it's a petri dish. Like the floors are sticky and we're like, how? This is not beer sticky. You know, like it is
Yeah.
a peach, and everybody's like high-fiving and touching. So I think the awareness now that we are a touchy-feely society and we're not exactly clean is gonna trip people out.
Mhm. Yeah, there's gonna have to be a lot of maybe I don't know. Yeah, a lot of awareness towards that when you go out now. You just everybody's wearing masks and washing your hands, and I have my little sanitizer bottle. Whatever I do, I sanitize.
I think
Yeah.
the masks should just be a year-round thing, even after this
Mhm.
dies down. I mean, they do it in other countries, and slow the spread of flu season and things like that. And on tour, it's always a kind of a given that you're going to get sick.
Oh God, we all get so sick every tour
So
without fail.
yeah. So, and I remember one time we were driving through California, we were looking for respirators. It was when the California fires were going on in Paradise, outside of Sacramento. And we were looking around for masks even then. There's always something on the road that you have to protect yourself from, it seems like. So it might be nice just to go and play. And then when you're interacting with people, have a mask on.
Yeah. Have kind of an oxygen mask, like approach them like an astronaut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
thinking this would be the perfect time for if everybody performed like Daft Punk, just like both suits.
Yeah, and it could be. I think if we go like a fantasy thematic route, like Daft Punk, they were aliens. If we play up maybe I'm an alien. I'm just an alien approaching people. That's why I wear a mask, kind of. It will be more acceptable. We basically have to approach adults like a Sesame Street episode and try to make it colorful and feel safe.
Yeah.
The fact that we're all wearing masks.
Yeah.
Before this, I remember like I think I was in high school when SARS got on the scene in the early 2000s, and I don't remember seeing like traveling into big cities and seeing people with like masks until after SARS. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't mean everybody's gonna be like fucking a ninja, like shrouded forever. But I like the good thing maybe with this pandemic is the awareness, because especially in this country with like no paid sick leave and stuff, like now people will maybe be like, okay, I'm sick, I will wear a mask when I'm going to the store so I don't get other people sick. Like hopefully that's a thing we keep.
Yeah, it's all interconnecting. Like it just sprouts into different things. Like you get sick, what is your insurance, your family? Like I think there's definitely a hyper awareness of health. It's like the dateline of diseases. Now we are hyper aware of how we get sick. This is turning out to be a very happy, dark episode.
I don't want to murder my friends.
Or my mom. I don't
or
want
my
to.
moms. Yeah,
That
we
was
love
on
moms and friends.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, but I was really interested about like movies as a subject because I do often ask, what is a movie that you feel would be a great concept album?
Hmm.
Oh, well, I mean, I feel like Tarantino movies always have a really strong soundtrack that's all over the place. So I feel like any Tarantino movie could be like a cool concept album.
Kill Bill, a Kill
Yeah.
Bill album.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Shawshank Redemption could be a musical, like a Broadway musical, if someone could work on that.
That
Chris?
would be good too.
You mean like a concept album like Tommy, like was a movie?
Yeah. Or just like I was talking to an artist yesterday, and he is trying to figure out. He loves Spider-Man, and he's trying to figure out how to make it a concept album. And he's plucking kind of the heroic journey of being this young guy who wants to be bigger than life, but he's also like of really small roots. He's faced some surprising traumas for being a teen. And I love like the way he framed it. And I always ask that question because I do think, and it popped in when you sent me your topics, I believe that every artist has another art that inspires their art. That is not that like I do music, but I love movies and I watch movies and that inspires a song kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Midsummer. That'd be a weird concept.
Yeah.
I would love just to hear that album.
Yeah. What's
Especially
that gonna sound like?
That's especially because the director was so adamant that it was a film about codependency. So that is a theme.
The scariest thing, like Midsummer and Hereditary are so creepy and haunting, but like what I love about those movies is there's gory shit and there's sad, people are dying and stuff in those movies. But like Hereditary, the scariest thing to me about Hereditary is the family's relationships. Like the yucky feeling in the house, like that's scarier to me than like the like Toni Collette crawling on the ceiling. Like I would rather see some fucked up shit than be in a family dinner where we all don't understand each other, don't like each other.
Yeah.
Like that's scary to me.
I think what's scary to me is the embracing of their darkness. That always like the ending of Hereditary and the ending of Midsommar, that kind of like I'm not trying to be good anymore. I am 100% about evil. And I like the whole film being a buildup to them just feeding into their darkness. That always freaks me out.
Mm-hmm.
That's
it really left an imprint for sure. I remember being like,
spoilers. Ooh. T, have you seen these movies? Spoilers.
Spoilers.
I'm the one in the band who doesn't like to watch anything upsetting. So
I'm like a little bit of both worlds too. T and I watch a lot of like sitcom bullshit, and then
teen like yeah, we watch all. I mean, we're both on the Gilmore Girls right now, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never gotten in there.
You have not?
Never
Lauren.
been in there. I'm rewatching all the Buffy and Angel series.
Yeah,
right
whenever I'm at Lauren's, we watch that Buffy. It's really good.
We like air jam the whole theme song.
Ooh, I
We
forgot
did.
the Buffy theme song.
We were like,
It's pretty rocking.
it's so rocking.
Like,
You should add that in, that
Yeah.
theme song. See if you can find it.
yeah.
I want to see.
Our
I'm
next
trying to
cover
remember
song.
that. Yeah,
It's
I
like,
would say.
so good.
And then they have like an episode where Chibo Mato is like playing, like they always in the beginning like worked in all these like cool kind of bands that were coming up into the episodes. That was neat. But
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's not always so subtle. Like you could tell when they're plugging a band,
yeah,
which
they're
I
like,
love.
what? Did you see who's gonna be at the Bronze tonight? Like,
I love it. I love it. I would say that I'm definitely like Lila. I love a Buffy, but I love a Gilmore.
Yeah.
I do. I need that breathability at times. Like I watch Bridgerton. I'm like, chef's kiss. Thank you. Like just cheesy. Love it. Obviously, everyone's talking about the sex scenes, which in a way shows that a lot of people are sexually frustrated. I do love those really. I love a true crime episode, but I love like a To All the Boys or Gilmore Girls or a series I just reviewed, Ginny and Georgia. Like they're dramatic.
Started that.
You're gonna love it. I feel like they're calling it the new Gilmore, but I think it's a little bit darker than that.
Mm-hmm.
But it has that kind of, it's light enough where I can absorb its darkness and not feel like I need to sleep with the lights on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's the problem with touring, is usually what everyone agrees on is a true crime thing. Before
we watch
going to bed.
Forensic Files to go night night.
And we share one room. So
there's like 6 of us in a Motel 6, all down,
yeah. We had just played, I think, was it Jacksonville, where there was like the motel room next door was like sealed and like the locks were.
Oh, the crime tape.
It was like and then it's like, let's watch Forensic Files, and I'm in bed like.
Poor T.
There's a Hulu show. I'm blanking on the name. It's like Real Something 911, where it takes 911. Is that it? Where like they take actual 911 calls and they reenact them. And it's terrifying because like, how can you fall asleep listening to somebody scream?
That's what I'm saying.
Some of them are feel good though. Like there was one where the sister was all calling. She's like, "Oh my God, that was outside my window!" And then it happened to be her other sister who was trying to get in for like an hour, and she was like, "I'm like out. I need to get in your house." And then like you hear on the call, they're all, "Sorry, it's just my sister." And she's so scared the whole time. You think that she's gonna get murdered, but it was really funny how it ended.
I feel like the Law and Order and true crime, I don't know what level of, I feel they ask for overacting.
Mm-hmm.
They don't ask for regular acting. They ask for overacting.
Yeah, I would love to get one of those parts where you're like a guy, or I'll be a lady, like unloading lobsters from a truck, because they're always in the middle of doing something and they don't stop to talk to the cops. Like usually in real life, when the cops have asked me questions, I'm not like I told you the other day, I don't know, he comes in here all the time and like I'll talk to them.
Yeah.
Like in Law and Order.
Right. And after finding out someone's just been murdered, what happened? Todd's murdered. Yeah.
I feel like artists are they're this weird groundedness. Like they're so, part of like what I think is what makes artists really anxious and depressed is that they're so grounded and connected to everything. And virtual reality is just this weird orb. Like It's almost like we're connected, but there's something frayed in the wiring.
Mm-hmm.
That must be really frustrating right now.
Well, and in like Instagram, I just know like in this last year, my screen time shot through the fucking roof. Like just like my phone was like, you spent 6 hours today on like Instagram and Facebook. That's crazy. But so it's like this funny, and with the algorithms, I'd notice, even though I'm looking at pictures of my friends and stuff, it's also feeding you information to keep you clicking and scrolling. So like I realized like, yeah, and like the stuff that you're getting exposed to is really emotionally heightened. Like no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, like your Instagram will show you things that will freak you out and piss you off and keep you scrolling. And then cat videos to like kind of calm you down and make you like share stuff. But but in real life, it's, people don't troll each other in real life the way they do on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. Oh, Chris, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say, as an artist, I think it's just like it's so hard, especially like being in a band where you're creating together, and you if you can't be in the same room with someone, you don't feel the vibes of the room, and so it's hard. We haven't really done much creating in this time, so yeah, that it's been tough.
And the little that we did felt like a drug, like in September, we like went to a rural New Mexico and we wrote like a song and got to play together on one that Lila had written that we hadn't gotten to play together yet. And we were just like, oh yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
You're like, oh, shoot me up with this.
We went to the place in our van too, so it was like we're on our own tour. It really felt magical.
I mean, it's definitely a heightened appreciation for the small things.
Yeah,
for sure.
For what's happened.
But how do you feel it's changed? Because one of your topics was the creative process. Like, how do you feel it's changed your process and your artistry?
I think I'm a lot less inspired, if I'm going to be honest. I want to be more inspired. I know a lot of people are like, don't feel bad. You don't have to create. Everybody's in a pandemic, So I'm kind of on that spectrum a lot of days. Like I can't get my head out of it. But also, we are given the gift of time. So we do have a lot of time to create and feed into those moments when they do happen. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, for me, it feels like the world's like constantly changing in a way that it has not been changing as fast as in the last year, and so I just feel like I'm constantly processing the world and trying to even have anything to say about it, because you're like, what am I gonna? There's just so much out there and so much happening all the time that you're like, how do I even respond?
Yeah. Well, and like, yeah, I'm right there with Lila. Like any time that I've, written something for the band, it's always been collaborative. Like I don't do it on my own. Like I need to be in the room with these guys, like to hear T fucking around on the drums, or to hear like, Chris playing a guitar, Lila playing her keys, or, when Lila sings something, then all of a sudden my brain comes alive with ideas for melodies. But off on my own, I'm not inspired the way I am when I'm not physically near someone.
This artist was talking about cancel culture and social media, and I it's not necessarily about what I'm about to say is not about that topic, but how I think in this past year, with all that's happening and this weird, so much is happening and so much is not happening, it's hard to not only respond to this world, but also feel like you have the right or the emotional intelligence to respond. Like I that word processing stuck out to me because sometimes I don't know how to process all that we're talking about, but I don't even feel like I have the right to join the conversation.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, like yeah, we're just reckoning with the whole world. I mean, we can talk to anybody. We could be having this interview with you from Guam, like there are just things, the beautiful thing about technology is that we're able to speak to people and learn things and see things we've never seen. But then the flip side of that is that, like, we're a raw nerve that's just getting touched and exposed to everything constantly. And not everybody's gonna, with comedy, with music, not everybody's gonna get you. Back in the day, if someone printed something on a magazine and people read it and were like, this girl looks dumb, you wouldn't hear their comment. Now everybody's a critic and you can see it.
Everybody is a critic. Social media has certainly made everybody feel like a critic, and like literally, because I mean, how many YouTube series are all about reacting?
Right. Yeah. People are reacting. YouTubers are reacting to YouTube. Yeah.
Which is so like when you think about it, like now people watching TV and you watching the people watch TV of a show that you probably watch on your own. It's like, whoa, this is like Spider-Man and the multiverse. Like, it's just too many multiverses happening all at once. Yeah. It is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think back to like movies back in the day, like on VHS, they had two versions. One version was the director's cut where the actors were reacting to themselves in the scenes. I don't know if you guys ever watched those. But then it had to be like you had to order that specifically, or like it was a lot less accessible because it came in the packaging itself, like it wasn't available online, or like
Special edition,
exactly. So this kind of stuff is now like taken into another context where people are like, I don't know, it's just the technology and the internet is ever evolving, and what people are interested in is just nuts sometimes.
I think it's just too much. It's like going back to processing and the rate of information. We have way too much information that I don't think our brains are meant to handle. Kind of like if you watch a Gilmore Girls episode, and if one of them is going through a breakup, it's all the resolution of the breakup is depending on if he left a message on your answering machine or not. It's
God.
So you could leave the house. Back in the old days, if you broke up with someone, you could leave the house and almost kind of forget a little bit that you're going through a breakup. But now,
good days.
Now they can post a picture, like a thirst trap picture on Instagram, and
or you're just checking your phone all the time.
Yeah.
Or did they change their relationship status online? Or it's, I don't know if our brains are meant to handle this much, whether it's personal things or, popular culture, or even just arts and culture. It's like trying to swallow the ocean these days.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely like, I know there's an app that you could download that could show you who's watching you and like how many times they've watched you. So like, but they promoted it kind of like, do you want to see if your ex is looking?
I do.
Like brilliant. Like it's absolutely toxic, but absolutely brilliant, because it's almost as if they know that people want, like we all want to be positive, but we all feed our negative. Like social media is 100% based off jealousy.
Yeah.
Based off like darkness, and like it has a lot of lightness. Like I think it could be really funny. I'm always inspired by how creative people are. But there is this level of like, we want the haves and the have-nots.
Well, and like jealousy and fear, right? Like you can really lurk and creep and sort of like not do it in real life. You can really like kind of like people start liking each other's photos before they have the the balls to ask each other out on a date or whatever, or
liking photos is the new foreplay. It's kind of like, it's like the new, he left a comment, she liked 3 of my posts. that means something.
Yeah, I remember these girls that were like 10 years younger than me at work got in their friends, and one of them liked this guy, and the other one was mad because he started following the friend on Instagram. I'm like, how, that is so bizarre. Like she can't control this person following her on Instagram, and like
that's the jealousy.
I felt of a different generation than these ladies when that shit went down. I was like, what is happening?
And they grew up at the most curated form of social media also. So like we kind of all were the test puppets, and then they algorithmed this and that based on how we started interacting as humans. And now those kids who were 5 then who are now 20 or whatever, it's like, so I feel really sad for them because they think that they're not pretty or that they're not this based on what filters on other people's pictures, and they're not even real. Like those people don't even really look like that. It's a completely different facade. That algorithmic potency has played a role in sort of fucking people up, including me. I mean, I'm talking from from firsthand experience. Like, what the fuck? It really is weird how it gets in your mind like that.
There is almost one artist, he said something really interesting to me, and I think the way he surmised it was perfect. Was there's a pressure to be like, you can't just be occasionally witty. You have to be a comedian. Like you can't be occasionally wise. You have to be a guru. And he was saying like the label put a lot of pressure on him, not only to always post, but to be like, you have to be exceptional. You can't, there's nothing, even when you're light, you have to be the sun in terms of radiation. And he found that frustrating because like me, I do social media because I have to, but it's never been something I'm really into. And he totally agreed. But then it's almost like I have to be a god. Like even hate groups, like you have to be the god of evil. Like you have to be the most hateful person in the universe when you're on social media. You can't just be lightly hateful. You have to be really hateful.
Yeah. And when you reach that level too, where so many people are liking and following a certain entity, like you're going to get every spectrum of hate, happy, love. Like it really is kind of scary.
It makes me wonder if, we were talking about music and movies that we love to absorb and consume. It makes me wonder if humanity is obsessed with like hearing and watching, but not necessarily listening and observing. Like we love the content stream, but the whole idea of pausing and being like, whoa, it's kind of like it just feels too deep for us, and perhaps we've confused pausing for kind of what Lauren was saying, like somebody's going to dig up something that you said 20 years ago, or somebody's going to listen to this podcast and think we were making fun of murder and be like, cancel all of them. Cancel all those Prism bitches.
Yeah, well, and I think the wiring shift, it's a programming thing. Like, I can feel my brain working different. Like when I go to the bathroom, I take my phone with me. And I was like, wow, okay, I probably peed and pooped for 30 years without my phone with me. Like and it's like an exercise. Like I have to consciously be like, go to the bathroom without your phone. You're going to be okay. Like you can do it.
Yeah, now we're on the end of, we have to heal ourselves from all of the exposure.
Yeah.
Right.
Find ways.
I feel like I don't know if it's an instinct thing or if it's like a wiring thing, like to not just to be.
It's an addiction, so it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Entertainment constantly.
I feel like it's taken experiences and made them consumption. Like we're just consuming all these instead of experiencing stuff. We're just like,
yep.
Yeah.
Actually
let's make this into
out.
something that I can give to some people to have, you know, to consume and you know.
Well, everything on
Yeah.
that we're looking at and listening to, no one is privy to the process. So it just, these things seem like they magically drop out of the air. With, you know, I'm a drummer, so like there's so much exceptional drumming from exceptional people, but we don't see the process of those 30 seconds that got on the latest post. So you just think, oh, that's the way it was supposed they came out of the box like that. So I'm supposed to be coming out of the box. Oh, I'm not like that. So I feel shitty about myself, or shitty about my art, or shitty about my playing. But the observing and the listening is part of, you know, making mistakes and growing. And but
Yeah.
we don't see any of that now because it's so instant, and you have to be
It's
instantly
curated.
good. Yeah, instantly good all the time. And we're not, you know, we're
Yeah.
not instantly good all the time. We're really bad for a good, you know, certain period. At least I am, you know, I'm really bad, and then I'll have a breakthrough, and then everything will fall apart. And but that's the experience
Yeah.
of learning, you know. So
We're human beings. We're not robots.
are
But now they're
are
like,
we
you need to be a
really?
robot.
Yeah. If you want the algorithm to work right.
Yeah.
Oh man, have you seen like that episode of Broad City where like the whole episode is
Yeah.
through an Instagram story?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
such a good
And
show.
like, and then like when they break their phones and they're like they're looking at a sunset and they're like, oh, that's so pretty, and then they don't have a phone to like put it on their story, so they're like, I guess we could just look at it in real life, and they're just like totally uncomfortable just like looking at it in real life.
That is a brilliant show and a potentially brilliant concept album. But
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
we
That's
bring
a
that
really
up,
good
bring that up. But I think
Circle.
you know that shows to connect with all that we've been saying, like especially Teresa's point. Like I think that that show kind of showed how convoluted we are. I think that you know we've confused sharing for like just put consuming, and for commenting for deep thoughts.
Yeah.
Like there's just we don't have, and I think that humanity has always been imbalanced. Like I never understand when somebody says, don't you remember the glory days, and I'm like, what war, like
Yeah.
a history book, then it's just like, and then this war happened, and then this war happened, and it's like, what glory day?
And
Tell
then
me.
this plague, and then this, you know.
I always wonder if social media it like exacerbated a issue we already had, and in that kind of fed it, because I just don't see a time when humanity was really balanced or at peace with itself.
Like there's a lot of, you know, because I all of us are pretty like and I think I'm speaking for you too, like pretty progressive, like liberal, like politically liberal people. But even on like the left, which I think I'm really on the left side of the political spectrum, right?
Yeah.
But even on like folks like that think, you know, believe in things that I think are important too, I'm noticing a lot of like virtue signaling and a lot of like, you know, like especially like I'm a white lady, you know, like I grew up pretty solidly middle class, and I'm seeing a lot of people like me just demonizing and antagonizing other people that are on their same side. And it's almost like me and my dad were talking about, like in junior high, there was this kid on my bus, and oh man, because I was going through my junior high yearbooks, and I was like, oh, this poor fucking kid, man. Like everybody, you know, I think everybody's seen that kid that everybody teased, but when you're in junior high, what it is the like, oh, thank God, not me.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we all are like, yeah, this kid's a fucking like weirdo loser, they're so weird, they're so dumb, you know, then really what that is like everybody doesn't want the eyes on them.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's kind of happening to a degree with you know, like obviously some people that are getting canceled, good, like get them out of here, you know, but like but I see a lot of people antagonizing each other because we're isolated and we're lashing out, right? We want to be like, no, I'm a good guy because I'm going to tell you this person's fucked up. Like
Wow.
there's no path for atonement, you know, like what
or growth. Yeah.
like we
That's
need to
so-
make room for people to be like, I made stupid jokes when I was 20 and they were fucked up and I'm dumb, but like I'm not a demon.
Yeah, no, what a rich thought. I think that we've confused sometimes people virtue signal. I'm like, that's not the point you come in. And it's because they want to look like a good human being. And I think that intentions do matter in actions. And I see sometimes that people just want to look like they have virtue rather than actually having it. And I also I I think it's atonement. I think it's about growth and having the purpose of healing.